I've been trying to find more 4-inch figures. I know that Espio and the Eggrobo are out there. I've had no luck finding them whatsoever. Toy reviewer's law, when you say something hasn't happened, it might happen before the next video.
It's morphin' time!
Hello, this is Soundout here, and welcome to another Sonic the Hedgehog review. Today we'll be taking a look at Espio the Chameleon and the Eggrobo from the 4-inch line. Now, fun fact, these are, I believe, Wave 9, if I'm not mistaken, and I had just said in my 2.5-inch catch-up video that, yeah, I was like, oh, I couldn't find any 4-inch figures. I don't know when I'm going to get Espio and the Eggrobo. Literally 2 days later, I found them at a Target, so maybe I should say things like, oh, hey, I haven't found the movie figures yet for the second wave, even though I'd like to have them. Or more importantly, the fact the next wave has Vector the Crocodile and Ray the Flying Squirrel, and yeah, any day now. In terms of what we're looking at today, Espio, Eggrobo, they're the next two new figures. So this wave has been sort of hitting stores. I think I've made it clear I had trouble finding this, but I did find them. I found one of each at the stores because I think the case assortments for these waves are 3 of the Sonic and then 1 of everybody else, and that sucks because it means it's hard to find the new characters. But here's Espio, standard packaging that we're used to. On the back here, you can see you got articulation and you got a description. The speed member of Team Chaotix. He is a chameleon that can blend in. Anyways, I don't know why I went with that cadence, but we've got a Sonic, that's the normal Sonic. We got a Tails, who actually has his tails in a rotating position, I believe. I didn't see the tails, but that is pretty cool. And then Espio and Eggrobo, pretty neat. And then Eggrobo here, who I'm hoping is 1,000 times better than the Jazzwares one. See my complete history of the Jazzwares Sonic video for more on that. Eggrobo is an egg-shaped robot and one of the most powerful badniks. So yeah, I mean, that's cool. Yeah, we're going to open these up. I think, you know, by this point, having reviewed all the unique characters this line has put out, I'm excited for something new. We've been doing some sort of redos lately, so I'm excited to get 2 new characters, 1 modern, 1 more classic, and yeah, let's open them up. Alrighty, so here is Espio, and I think he looks great. I mean, he is Espio the Chameleon. He is the first member of Team Chaotix we've gotten. He's usually the first member we get. I think that was the same with the Jazzwares line. First of all, here's his accessory. It's a checkpoint. This checkpoint's been activated, that's why it's yellow. I have not actually had the checkpoint accessory before, because I think it came with a version of Eggman with a blue dot, or a red one. But the checkpoint, it actually has this cool little springy feature where it springs back up. So kind of the idea is Sonic runs by, hits it, and then it comes back up like it does in the games. It usually spins all the way around, but I like this little gimmick. It's pretty cool, and it'll go well with some playsets. But specifically looking at Espio, I mean, look at this guy. He's got that smirk. He's got that nose. He looks just like you'd expect. He is a ninja, and he's got hands. I like the 2 open hands. I do like that we're going to that more as opposed to some of the weird mismatching we've had before. I think the color looks good. It's a nice purplish pink color, which matches Espio. He's got that heart design on the chest. I do like, you know, the way his eyes are done. Very nice. He does have his tail as well as the spines on his back, and those are pretty well painted. Those are actually pretty nice. And the tail is actually ball jointed, and it comes up to the little curl because he is a chameleon. You got the purple on the shoes here with the yellow studs and the more white bandage look. Same with the white gloves, the purple and silver trim there. Pretty nice stuff overall. I do really think that he's got one of the cooler designs of a Sonic character, and I really do appreciate the way he's been rendered here. He's honestly looking pretty sharp and pretty neat. Pretty nice character design and pretty nice figure of it. So for articulation, he's got a 360 head, so he's got full exorcist action. You've got shoulders that move out, shoulders that move 360. You can move the head out of the way, which helps. Gauntlets are fixed, but the wrists do turn, which is nice. Hips that move forward, out, the knees that bend, and the knees that rotate at the knee, and then you also can rotate at the boot. There's a little side to side, but not a whole lot. That means if you do want to get him into some ninja poses, I don't know how to do ninja poses with a Sonic figure because of the design scheme, but you know what? There, we can have him, I don't know, we can have him Naruto running. Is this a thing people still do as a joke? Anyways, in terms of posability, I mean, he's got the same standard points you'd expect for like a Jakks Sonic figure. There's the Bigfoot pose, right? You know, just turn that black and white and blur it, and there's your Bigfoot pose. Anyways, I don't really know what to say. He's pretty nice to have, and I think he makes a nice companion to the lineup. But as an individual figure, he's only, you know, about as good as he should be, which is pretty excellent. That being said, let's compare him to the previous Espio figure I own, which is the Jazzwares one. Jazzwares Espio also looked pretty good. I think the two-finger ninja pose was neat, but it did restrict a lot of his posing options. And then, of course, you know, the Jakks one looks a little bit more slim because the Jazzwares had all these extra joints that were sticking out. But I think in terms of, like, you know, is this an upgrade? 100%. Definitely. All right, so here is Espio with Modern Sonic. See, they're all in the same size class. I have no complaints there. But let's put Espio with his former teammate, Knuckles, from back in the Knuckles Chaotix days. And Espio also is, once again, starting a new team for Sonic Heroes. We have Team Sonic complete. We have Team Dark. Team Rose began with Amy. Hopefully we'll see Big and Cream. And then with Espio, we already know Vector's on the way, so hopefully Charmy's not too far behind. All right, so here is the Eggrobo. This is a very classic looking Eggrobo from the 2D games. I really do love this design. I think that's why, almost famously, I did not like the Jazzwares release of this guy, and this is a much better figure. So looking at him, he's pretty uniquely sculpted. This is a fully new mold, like a lot of the figures are really. But there's not anything shared from another figure here where some of the other characters may share limbs. I do love the design of the face. I love the, we got kind of a teeth look. It's sort of a walrus thing, even though that is like the Eggman, yellow flag design. The eyes, the really cool like sculpting details in the top here, where it is definitely like layered plastic. It's not just a singular sculpt to get the eyes and the mouth detail there. I think that's just fantastic. None of this moves from what I can tell. I guess the eyes slightly move, but it's all separate plastic pieces, which give it a nice level of depth. Got really cool with the silver buttons all throughout there, and this is the general silver color on his legs. Even looking at the jetpack, we got the nice yellows, adding a little bit of spark of color. And then the jetpack turns. It doesn't remove from what I can feel. It just, it rotates 360, so you have different options there. Pretty cool to see the thrusters as well. The part that I was really surprised by, considering this is like a $10 Jakks-specific Sonic figure, look at them feet. The bottom of the feet here definitely have a lot more detail than I was expecting. It's all paint, so none of this is sculpted in, but that is some incredible paint work for a figure of this price point. And I wonder if that, is part of the why they made these one per case or whatever. I really like it. Whatever the concession was to get this looking this good, I appreciate it. And in fact, that's probably why we get, 2 new characters a wave and then 2 repack characters, just because that spreads out the cost of a wave to 2 figures instead of 4, but they still release 4 figures. But looking at, Eggrobo, I think he's just great. I really do. There's really nothing to complain about. I love the white gloves. Yeah. He is excellent. And then on top of that, he has articulation. So the head, it's a dome, so you just turn left and right. It can go 360 for full exorcist action. I'm trying not to make that a catchphrase. The point is, you can turn that. Shoulders move out, shoulders 360, elbows bend, elbows rotate, wrists rotate, hips move forward, hips move back. Hips also rotate so you can move them out, which is pretty nice. The knees do bend, the knees do rotate at the knee. And then the ankle does pivot forward and back and left and right. So if you got this guy and you're looking to pose him, he actually can pose pretty decently, which is pretty impressive for an Eggrobo. I did just tip him back there. But yeah, you can actually get him kind of like stepping forward like that. Now the moment of truth is going to be his big honking gun. So the blaster here, it's got a great design. You got the black tube thing, which actually is a separate piece. So this isn't just sculpted in. It is a separate piece, and it is softer, so that'll avoid the chance of it breaking. The trigger is also a little softer because that's a different piece of plastic as well. And this little cap, I think, is just painted on. And a lot of these details are painted, like the blue line there, the white part there, and just the overall gray plastic. Now this is the moment of truth. I haven't tested this yet. So he can hold it, which has got a great grip to it, but can he hold it and still stand? We're gonna try to keep him in the pose. And he can! Oh my gosh! Okay, so For context, I know the Jazzwares video is like 45 minutes long, so I'm just going to bring this in. Here is the Jazzwares Eggrobo, which this one had just shoulder movement. The legs were static. They were also tiny. The head didn't move. The backpack didn't move. He was really sparse on paint. And then he had his gun, which was, you know, a little undersized. And then he tried to put it in his hand, and he couldn't hold it. And then if you could get him to hold it, he couldn't stand because his backpack was solid plastic, so that like it seemed like the gun was supposed to balance him out, and he couldn't hold the gun. And then if you try to like do it like this, that was like the only way, but he's still too back heavy. So this figure was like a complete disaster because he can't even stand up, and he's barely articulated, and he's also like really small. Meanwhile, I'm just gonna pivot the camera. That foot is off the ground unsuspended. This guy's still standing. So in terms of going from what was my least favorite and most hated Jazzwares Sonic figure, this Eggrobo, to this guy is just a 100,000 times % upgrade. The fact he's like balancing himself on one foot holding that gun, I love it. I freaking love this. This is incredible. It's something where it's like, you know, initially when Jazzwares lost the license, I was like, I don't want to start with a new company. Give it a few years. Jakks is like, hey, we're doing it. I'm like, all right, well, I liked your Mario figures for the ones I did buy. Maybe I'll go with you guys. And yeah, no, this is totally paid off because this is not just like, oh, hey, that's a mild upgrade. This is a complete 100% overhaul of an action figure. And then on top of that, not just the fact that it is so much better than the Jazzwares, this guy is like a really stellar action figure. He's got like this cool retro future design. He's got, you know, a large weapon, but it doesn't hold him down. The backpack doesn't, you know, take him down either because they made that more hollow. He's hollow torso, so he's not going to go anywhere. And then on top of that, he has full articulation with elbows and knees and bicep swivels. I don't have any complaints with him. This is downright one of the best figures of the line, and probably one of the best figures of the year, if I'm being honest, because he just works. He's not overly complicated. He's not under detailed. He's not missing anything. Like, this is supposed to be just like a badnik, a guy you just run past and smash while you're trying to get to Eggman. And yet here we are where he's got enough range and balance that he can balance on one foot. This shouldn't be this amazing, but it is, and I really, really appreciate it. So size-wise, Mr. Eggrobo next to classic 4-inch Sonic there, and then also him, of course, next to the classic 4-inch Eggman. I think it looks pretty good. I mean, everything's roughly in the same size. You know, some are a little taller, some are a little shorter. Eggrobo kind of goes in between there. Let's just swap out Sonic, and we'll put in a Mecha Sonic, so you can kind of see his size there as well. And then to kind of round it out, here is the Death Eggrobo. Look at the Eggman classic family there. Yeah, there's some smaller badniks, but you know what? You don't fit the theme. This is like, you know, here's a father and his two sons. One's just really big and one stands really, really well. I love the Eggrobo. I love the design aesthetic going on here, and it's really nice to have all this classic Eggman goodness. So Espio and the Eggrobo are both fantastic additions to the lineup and great figures on their own. If you're trying to find a figure of Espio, look for this one. I mean, I think most people are doing that at this point. The Eggrobo, I don't think, has ever had a better figure than this. If you're looking for these, I wish you the best of luck. Online distribution has been spotty, and trying to get them in stores is also kind of spotty. So I just wish you the best of luck when searching. That's the best advice I can give. But in general, I do really love these two figures, and I'm very glad to have them, and I'm glad I got to share them all with you today. So here's a group shot of all the 4-inch figures so far that I own. There's another wave of movie figures out there that are some variants. But in terms of just in general, I love how this collection continues to expand, and Espio and Eggrobo make a nice addition to it. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and leave a comment down below and tell me which is your favorite of the two figures. Personally, I like the Eggrobo. And also be sure to stay tuned for any future Sonic videos by hitting subscribe and the notification bell. Also check out other videos on the channel. There's a lot of variety. I know lately it's been Sonic, Digimon, Digimon, Sonic, but that's just how the cards fold when it comes to finding things in store. But there is plenty of other videos on the channel that you may have not seen before, as well as plenty in the future, so be sure to stick around. It's going to be a good time. Also, be sure to check out HobbyLink Japan in case you are looking for Sonic the Hedgehog merchandise out of Japan. I'll leave a link in the description below that'll help support the channel if you make an order with it. Also, be sure to check out Hero Club at hero-club.com for news and more, and my awesome graphic designer on Twitter at darkclaw643. And until next time, this is Soundout saying goodbye.